It is video time, everybody, and we're looking at the severe weather threat, the moderate risk for tomorrow, and whether that's going to translate eastward. Got quite a bit of slides to go through here, so we'll get right to it. And here is our surface map with dew points for tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. And you can see there's a lot of high dew point air across this region here. That's all the 60 plus dew point. We have 70 plus dew point in here, even getting to 75 back in here. So certainly no lack of moisture. And here is our 1008 pressure line here, and this is 1012. So this is 1004 in here. So we certainly have the dew points. We have the pressures to start looking for a threat of severe weather in this box in here, as it looks right now. So that's where we're starting at right there, and we'll go ahead here, look at the dew points at 850 millibars. Just want to show you that the moisture is indeed quite deep with this. You can see it's, from the surface on up, there is quite a bit of moist air to deal with. So there's a lot of moisture there for it to work with. Now look at the low-level jets, and very clearly we have a nice 925 millibar jet here, 850 millibar jet there. And notice here we have the winds. They're out of the south-southwest here, southwest at 850. But let's look here what happens when you get up to 500 millibars. We can see here now they're west. The flow is west to even west-northwest up here. So what we have going on here is in the lower levels, we have the winds coming like this. And the upper levels, they're coming like this. And that is a recipe for getting a nice complex MCS to be forming. And I expect to see that up in this region, up in here. I'm thinking it might be a little bit further north than what the SPC has, but generally the same general location. I think we're looking at for that type of activity to be going on, just because of that differential flow. And that's also, of course, a recipe for the possible tornadic activity as well. And I'll show you the EHI in a little bit. It's quite impressive. 300 millibars, we have a nice jet max coming down through here in the right rear quadrant back here, which is going to add to the instability. So a lot of ingredients all coming together right, as I said, in this area back in here. A little bit north of, like I said, where SPC has, but same general idea based on the same ingredients. Now looking here at the vorticity, we have a nice little vortmax coming in here. That's going to be adding energy to that. Now here is our cape, and obviously there's just a ton of instability here. And as I've always mentioned, you always need all the ingredients and something to bring it together. Well, we have the moisture, we have the instability, and we have the lift here, and we have the lift thanks to the jet max up here. So there's a lot of ingredients all coming together to bring the severe weather to that area of the country that I've been outlining a couple of times now, and there's very little convective inhibition. Now here's the EHI map, and this is just off the charts back in here. Due to that differential flow and the shear. And speaking of shear, here it is again, very impressive in those same areas. So I'd be concerned about tornadic activity up in here as well. Now looking at precipitation, this is the 12-hour precipitation ending at 5 p.m. For tomorrow. I'm going to show you what's going to happen as this system evolves and moves eastward. I think it's going to change character as that happens. Now here is our map for 11 a.m. on Thursday. And you can see here, we do have our high dew point air up in here, but look what's going on here. We have an easterly flow coming in off the ocean, bringing in cooler air and lower dew point air. So that's going to be a stabilizing factor as we head through the period here. And now what? Remember that we had that nice low-level jet at 925 and 850. Watch here, though. There's no jet. It's gone. It's offshore. So there's nothing really feeding in to that high dew point air. In fact, the system has become stacked. If you notice here, there's the surface, and there's 925, and it's pretty much the same at 850 as well. Now we'll take a look here at the 12-hour accumulated precipitation for Thursday, and look here. Look at now. Now it's evolved now into a heavy rain situation. I think what we're going to see happening is this MCS is going to form out here. It's going to stabilize the atmosphere out ahead of it, and we're going to get into a more of a heavy rain situation going there. There's 850 winds, a little bit out of sequence here, but that's okay. Now here's the Cape for Thursday. Remember, yes, for tomorrow, it had 3,000 plus out on here. Now look at this. It's much, much lower up in here. So that's another factor to consider. And here is our shear. Now there is quite a bit of shear out here. So that is one factor that bears watching as far as possible isolated severe weather. But I think that it's going to be much less that, if any at all, when we get into the east as we head through the day on Thursday, as compared to what we're going to see tomorrow. So that's what I'm looking at with this particular system, and we'll see how that pans out. But I think tomorrow is going to be the day where it all comes together.